We're here on the USDCAD 60-minute time frame, and there is a wedge pattern that's set up, though I'm only just getting around to doing the video. Taking an aggressive entry on this, hoping that we were going to get the breakout, and that is exactly what we have done. So I'm really hoping here that we're going to continue with the breakout and not pull back, because I've got very tight stops and very large large targets. They're the normal targets that I would go for based on this type of pattern that I've tested, and that is the 127 fib. I'll go here and do the high time frame analysis, but just to show you the risk reward on this trade, 25, and the reward is 107, so just over a 4-to-1 risk to reward here. Let's remove that. Let's go and have a look at the trade and why I looked at this as being a wedge and the breakout. So we've been ebbing and flowing our way all the way up to the top here. What I'm going to do though is put a structure level on at our previous highs, which is here, and take a look at what price did really within the last week or so. And we had a bullish move, and then we had a bit of a rejection candle, then we had a lower close, then we had a bullish candle, then a lower close, indecision, and here higher close. And so really we've just been consolidating, failing to put in those highs. Let's go and look at the 240. So there really wasn't a great deal there on the daily time frame. The 240 though is where the trade is. So with any type of flag pattern, wedge or triangle, always look for the same thing. I always look for that either a momentum move or a very directional move. And then what we need to see is, in this instance, this is a wedge, so we need to be seeing the market wedging. Yeah, it was there, I had it. So test minimum of 2 tests either side on this type of trade. Then what we did here, we came down again, but we failed to put in a double bottom. And just look at what we're doing here. This level did not retest the candle lows. This level did not retest the candle lows. This high did not retest the candle highs. So at this stage, you should be looking at potential wedge pattern or even a potential triangle, and then really you're looking for an entry reason. Now what we did have here is we had this consolidation area. So if we drop down to the 60, I'm just keeping an eye on this trade, guys, because we are actually rallying here. Oh no, we're a long way from targets yet. Another 50 pips. Okay. Okay, so what we had here is this was a bit of a mess, but we had a move higher, and then we had a form of pattern here. Now it's not one I can trade, but what we did is we broke out of that, we pulled back, we adhered to the structure level, then we broke out again to the upside. Now here on the 60 though, we failed to put in a new structure high because of these wicks. Sorry, just reading what somebody put on my YouTube channel. So lucky to have found this channel. I watch it every, I'm assuming that's day. A very nice comment there. Then what we did is we pulled back. Now here on the 60, this is what I was looking at. If you can imagine, price was like this. We were holding the structure level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For 8 hours this entire area here had been held. I'm just going to put a structure level on there, and I'm going to make this a different color just so that we can see it. We'll make it green and we'll fatten it up a little bit. Okay, so if we look at where that structure level comes in, you can see that's where we saw that big rejection there from that big bearish momentum candle. And so if that structure level was violated, then all that selling pressure would become buying pressure. So it would offer a very nice place to get involved with the trade, and certainly since we'd held it for 8 hours, then that was an indication by itself. We've got a level here as well. I think that's all I looked at. Well, no, we've got a couple more here. We've got a shelf there and this here as well. So it was a very nice area. Plus, look what we had here. We had the 13400 psychological number. So when I got involved, I put my stops a full ATR below the lowest candle, which gave me 14 pips below. So if I just bring back on the orders, fatten this back up just so that we can see it. You can see my stop was below the lows here. Price tried to push down and stop all those people out that didn't have the stop in the right place. Luckily, didn't affect me, had my stop in the right place. And then what we did is we saw a couple of big bullish moves, and that's pretty much where we're at the moment. So a bit wary as to how long this video is, so I'm just going to quickly draw this back out. Looking like this, and playing for that 127 fib extension. Let me just remove all the fibs apart from the one that we need. Ooh, why is that in the wrong place? What's going on there? That's correct. Okay, that's better. Okay, so there we go. Fingers crossed we can carry on rallying up here, because again, I've got very tight stops. And we'll put that a few pips before those targets. And the risk again, I think it was 25, wasn't it? 25 for around 105. Okay guys, we're back here on the dollar CAD. We've got less than 2 minutes until we have CPI news out for the Canadian dollar. Okay, just nearly deleted this recording then. That was not a good idea. So we know we're in our big pattern. What we've also done is we put in this flag pattern. You can actually see this clear on the 60. This is also a bullish breakout, so this is a good indication that we're going to go higher. Now the question is, with this news, are we going to spike down and get stopped out before we actually go up higher? I don't know, but what I do know is we've got a beautiful rally here. I would look for an AB equals CD pattern, and as you can see, we've come down to complete that. I would also look for this flag, if I wasn't already in this trade, for structure, and look left. The wicks are always the best for me. As you can see, we've come down into that structure level, and the final thing which I need to look for is fibs is a minimum of a 382 hit. We hit a 50%, and so this would be well, what I would need here is actually a bullish candle. Doesn't need to be a higher high or a higher close, just needs to be a bullish candle. So you can see news is out now. Let's just move this over so we can actually see the candles. Really hoping that we just are going to break to the upside here. Let's move that up a bit so that we can see it. 105 pips this is worth if we can get up there. So I'll pause it and come back to this in a moment. And we're back for an update, and this has been very, very painful. So here's my stop. I literally moved it to dead on break even, and this is what we was looking at. I said there was this potential flag pattern. I was looking at it coming into this area here. Then what happened as I was monitoring this, I was thinking, well, if we were to violate this highlighted area, we could actually come down to this area, but that's right near my entry and where my stop, my break even stop is going to be. And look at what we actually did. We came down to this point. I got 10 pips. I was only 10 pips up at one point, and then it turned. Now I was also playing with the idea of moving my stop down a little bit because we've clearly not gone on to hit targets, and this for me is a very high probability trade. So I dropped down the time frames and I said to myself, well, do you know what, we could actually be putting in an AB equals CD pattern, and that's exactly what we did here. We came down, went a little bit past it, and just literally turned. Now, does this mean that we're going to go up and hit targets? Nope, it does not. But go to the 240, and what you can see now is that we have a long wicked candle to the downside, and this the body actually closes now in the upper 30%, something like that, so 70% of wick here. And it looks very nice on the 240. Here on the 60 we've had a higher high, higher close. So is there still a good chance that we can go on and hit targets? Yes, there is. So let me move this back to a few pips past break even. There's still 105 pips on the table. I was thinking, to be honest, we were going to be stopped out. I was going to be stopped out. I've had a fantastic day, fantastic week. Last couple of weeks have been amazing. But 2 weeks ago I was 116 pips up on a trade, and I was stopped out 5 pips before hitting targets, and I was thinking to myself, oh, God, I don't believe this, 90 pips up. And you know, I was thinking this is my last trade now for Christmas. I've just had a beautiful winner, literally just in the last 2 minutes on the New Zealand yen head and shoulders for plus 45, and if we can get up there, we've got news out in an hour, so I'll be holding this through the news. If we can rally on up, hit those targets, it'll be the icing on the Christmas cake. The time is a few seconds before 7 o'clock. We've got FOMC out. We've got this for the next 30 minutes. We've got another major news event at 7:30. So we may see a reaction here, or we may not see anything at all. It might not happen until 7:30. And of course, there may not be any reaction at all, but we could. So this is where we're at the moment, and we'll see what happens with that news event. Okay, just resume the video. It's only been a few seconds. Seeing where's my mouse gone again? Seeing bullish move here, which is good because we obviously want our targets to be hit. Ooh, okay, we're rallying up there nicely. I tell you what, guys, this will be beautiful if this hits, because I've had a fantastic week. I've had a fantastic day. 3 winners, 1 loss. Loss was for 13 pips. I'm up I think it's 108. If this hits, this will put, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because we've not hit. So I'll pause it and come back if we get close to targets. Okay, we're still heading in the right direction. 70 pips up. I've just changed to the 240 chart here just so we can get a bigger perspective as to what's actually going on. Let's just make sure my fibs are in the right place. Okay, so yep. Yep. All looks good. Come on, FOMC, you've given us a bit of a kick in the right direction after almost stopping me out. Finish that rally. Let's get up there. Okay guys, resume the video. 74 pips up. I'm hoping this is just a pregnant pause before the market picks up momentum again. You never know what the market is going to do, but through the amount of thousands of hours I've spent in the market now, 2 things usually happen. One is the market runs out of steam and reverses, and we eat back all the gains we've made, or 2, it's a pregnant pause before the market suddenly bursts back into life again and we see another push up. So I'm hoping it's the latter. I'll pause it again. Okay, we're back. We're seeing a big old retracement there from 75 back to 45. We do have more news out now at 7:30, so I'm going to get ready just to close this out if we spike past my stop loss and it doesn't take for whatever reason. I was really hoping that with you know, with that move, that we were going to get the follow through all the way up into targets before this 7:30 news comes out. Wasn't meant to be, so I have absolutely no idea what is going to happen here with this news. Are we going to see spike down and then spike up, spike down, not do anything? Certainly by the way the market's been moving up to the run up to this news event, it has been moving the market, so I would expect to see something similar again. Okay guys, we're back and we are now 89 pips up. We have been a little higher, but look at what we've done here. We've put in an indecision candle. Now by itself doesn't really mean a great deal, but it has happened at structure. It has also happened at the psychological number 13500. This is my last trade of the year, and we don't have a lower close yet, but we could conceivably see a big one here. So I have to ask myself at this stage, do I want to exit the position knowing that we have a psychological number, we're up at structure, or do I want to hold it and see if I can get these extra 15 pips out the market? I certainly don't want to sabotage the trade, but at the end of the day, we've hit that psychological number, held, we put in a indecision candle. I'm just looking for structure. Did we close above that structure level now? Yeah, we're right at, if we look here, we're right at the structure levels, and we could certainly go a little bit higher, but we are right at the top of those. So on reanalyzing this, I don't want to take the risk. It is 9:10. If I was to leave this, then I'd pay 2 pips in holding it over the night time. So I'll just exit the trade for 88 pips and put that down as a lovely win. Didn't quite get targets, but they're the reasons specified, and that brings my trading to an end. What a fantastic day. 88 pips here, 3 other winners and 1 loss. A total banked today 196 pips. Total banked this week, and bearing in mind it's only bloody Wednesday. I've just taken 12, 17 less. Okay, so 269 pips for the week. Merry Christmas everybody. I'll catch up with you all next year.